Hidden in this barn, we found a piece of American muscle history. A 1964 and a half Mustang. That's right, a half. That indicates the first year that the Mustang was ever created. So what you're looking at and what we found is one of the first Mustangs ever. And the last time it was plated was 1994, but we found stuff inside the car from 1980, meaning it hasn't been touched in 45 years. But to get it out was no easy task because it was completely buried in the ground, so we had to use some heavy machinery. Let's see if we could save this time capsule.
All right, anticlimactic, hang on. There we go. I'm told this is a 1964 and a half Mustang, otherwise known as the 1965 Mustang, but this is one of the first years, this is the first year that the Mustang was ever made. And from first glance, I think this thing's actually in pretty good shape. It looks like it was a Georgia car, so hopefully there's not that much rust underneath it, but it looks like all the glass is intact. It's obviously covered in dirt and debris, and it's tightly squeezed in here. It's gonna be a real pain to get it out, but the more and more I look at this car, this is a true survivor.
You gotta come over here and look at this wheel up front. It looks like it's buried.
This one?
No, the front one.
Oh, that is buried. Athletic boy. Oh, this is completely buried. Oh my God, Brent. If I dig this back, let me put a phone light on it. See if you can zoom in at all. Look at this. It's up to, I don't even understand how it's buried. Like, it's buried higher up on the front of the wheel than it is on the rear of the wheel. I've never seen anything like that. That's insane.
I think we need to get this car out of here. You're inhaling too much dust. And we're not going to be able to get this out with our winch, so we had to pull out the heavy machinery. And while we finish getting this pulled out and loaded up into our trailer, I just want to say, if you guys are not subscribed to this channel, let's see if we can get all of you subscribed, because we have massive announcements coming up, new things coming out, and the two biggest videos we've ever released coming at the end of this month. I'm telling you, May 31st video, you do not want to miss. And also, let's see if we could break 10,000 likes on this video in the first weekend of it being out. But with all that being said, I want to ask the question of the video, so leave your answers in the comments below. This is an easy one for all you Mustang lovers. What is your favorite model of the Mustang ever? You have this 1964 and a half, you have the GT350s, the GT500s, anything to choose from. What's your favorite? Let us know.
All right, so we made it back with the 1964 and a half Mustang, and Mike's seen it for the first time.
I'm actually kind of shocked at how much I'm noticing that's different about these Mustangs from, we had a 67 and we've previously done a couple other Mustangs, but this thing has a lot of little tiny differences that I wouldn't have thought they would. Even this. And I think they keep this on the newer Mustangs where they have this kind of look to them, but it wasn't on the 67 or 68 cars. And then also, this is different. I think the back end's a little bit more narrow. This is different. Like, I'm kind of shocked at how much the car changed in such a short amount of time.
Absolutely, and actually, this is a much smaller car than the 1967 Mustang. I believe the wheelbase is almost 2 inches shorter. It's much more narrow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the fender flares or the extended, wider body, because that didn't come until later options that had the bigger 390 V8. So they needed the larger engine bay and the wider car to fit the larger motor.
Yeah, because even without that other car here, it's so noticeable how much thinner this car was. Like, it's almost like it's a completely different car. And then the back end as well, with these tail lights protruding out instead of being sucked in like those cars had, and the different trunk lid. Like, again, it doesn't seem like any of the pieces of this car would fit the other car, but they're just so close. Like, they changed it so soon, which is kind of odd.
Well, the Mustang did make a bunch of changes from the 1964 and a half model to the 1967, because this initially wasn't necessarily considered a very sport-focused vehicle. It was sporty, it was supposed to be a fun car, it was supposed to be a car that was designed to entice the children whose parents had driven the very large, the big cars, the big boats.
This is going to be an inexpensive car that anybody could own. So it would placate to a younger crowd. All the cars in the 60s was just money thing. Like, nobody had a lot of expendable income for big motor, huge car anymore. So these companies were making them smaller, and this was the first Mustang.
It was a way to differentiate yourself from your parents that, again, drove those big, land yachts. Now you had something much smaller that was much more fun to drive and had a lot more, I shouldn't say style, but just had a lot more personality. And then eventually this car grows into what the Mustang is today. So this was the beginning of it. And actually what's kind of crazy is this was built on the Ford Falcon platform. So the Mustang platform didn't come out until a couple years later.
My question for you is, do you think this is the first time that Ford ever used a horse on a car, since it's the first Mustang?
That I don't know. And if you do know, let us know in the comments below. I'm gonna say this is probably the first time they use a horse emblem on any of their vehicles. I wanna ask Brent why it's named Mustang. It's not named after a horse.
Oh, it's named after the Mustang plane that we saw at the museum.
We did see one at the Crawford Auto and Aviation Museum. But yeah, the Mustang is actually named after a Mustang plane. I don't know the specifics of it. Actually, if you guys can let me know in the comments what exact plane and what that plane's used. I think it was used in war, but I don't know much about the history of war. So
yeah, but if that's true, then why is this not a plane?
Why isn't it a plane?
Why isn't it a plane?
Let me know in the comments below, why isn't it a plane? All right, time to start with the wheels on the Mustang. And first things first, I'm gonna pop this cap off and see if we can get this tire to hold air. Whoa. What do you think about that, Brent? It's holding air. Hey, oh, wait, hang on, Diaper Dog. Come back in. What's up, guys? This is my 6-month house update. So one of the first addition is Diaper Dog. He's an old man, so he has to wear a diaper around the house because he dribbles a bit. But I finally have furniture in my living room, as well as this awesome decor of the truck that we actually just gave away. So the living room is finally set. The kitchen finally has appliances, but I want to show you guys the best part of the whole entire house, which is my bed from Brooklyn Bedding. I'm a hot sleeper, so I chose a firm Aurora Lux cooling mattress from Brooklyn Bedding with a cloud pillow top for some added cushion. It does a great job of keeping my body and spine supported while keeping me cool at night. I've had my bed for over 5 months and my sleep quality has improved greatly. And I know this for a fact because I track my sleep with technology like my smart ring and my smartwatch. It's helped me recover from all my hard workouts and all the dirty cars that we detail. Before my Brooklyn Bedding bed, I used to sleep on one of their competitors' bed that was significantly more expensive and significantly less comfortable. So now the bed is relegated to the guest room. Sorry, guests. The best part about all of this is that Brooklyn Bedding mattresses are designed, assembled, and shipped from the Arizona factory. This means that they're able to use premium materials at a reasonable price for you with no middleman bringing up the cost. With your Brooklyn Bedding mattress, you get a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and free shipping right to your door if you live in the US. And the setup is super easy. All you have to do is unbox it, place it on the bed frame, and let it inflate, and bam, you're ready for the best sleep of your life. Their foam is CertiPure US certified, which means that it's free of certain harmful chemicals and low in VOC emissions. Brooklyn Bedding has been around since 1995, which is longer than me or Brent have been on this earth. Needless to say, I love my Brooklyn Bedding mattress, and I think you would too. If you are looking for a new bed, go to brooklynbedding.com. But wait, before you go there, click one of the links in the description below and use code WD Detailing for 30% off your bed. That's 30% off the best sleep of your life. Thank you so much to Brooklyn Bedding for sponsoring this video, but now I have to take this guy outside and then I have to head to work to finish up that Mustang.
Now we're gonna go around the car and vacuum off all the loose debris. That way it's not getting all over our shop floor. And it makes for a much easier process of pressure washing. And for the pressure washing process, we're gonna use our WD Auto Supply pre-wash, which is gonna help us safely lift all that dirt off the top layer of the paint. And just so you guys know, you don't need to have a car this dirty at home to use the pre-wash. It's great even if it's only a little bit dirty. I highly recommend using our pre-wash before you wash your cars to avoid scratching it as much as possible. But you don't need me to tell you that. All the results speak for themselves. And if you wanna get any of the products you see us using in this video, the link is in the description below.
All right, now it's time to check out the engine bay of this Mustang. And before I open the hood, I must say, you're not gonna love it. All right, so way back when, the Mustang's first beating heart was this. This is an inline six 2.8 liter that made about 100 horsepower. And this is actually borrowed from the Ford Falcon. You know, when they first made this car, it wasn't performance-based whatsoever. This was just thrown in here to get this car grooving. And as you can see, the one nice thing about a motor like this is, my God, there's so much room in this engine bay to do all the maintenance to something like this. This is so unbelievably easy to work on. But as you can tell by this tiny, tiny carburetor, the performance was lackluster, and this is also stuck. That's not good. Now, it's always been a dream of mine since I had my 67 Mustang to do an actual motor swap into one. And I have to say that this would be a perfect candidate because I don't think many people desire this 2.8 liter. So for me, I would love to see a Coyote motor go into an older Mustang. I think that's just homage. I think it's just proper. But I want to know, you at home, if you had this Mustang and this was your personal project, what would you put in this car? With that being said though, this motor is this nice blue color and hopefully we can get it coming out looking good. Oh my gosh. Those are bones of some kind. With that being said, I'm gonna go put my mask on and we're gonna use our citrus degreaser here. This engine bay is gonna be looking a lot better in just a minute. Let's get started.
I can't leave that in the video.
What? Why not?
Because.
Moving on to the interior of this Ford Mustang. Being the first Mustang, I can see that this is a no frills car. There's not a lot going on. You have a radio, you have your gear shifter, and you have the controls for the AC. And what's actually cool about this car is I knew it was a manual car. I didn't even realize these were 3-speed. This isn't even a 4-speed car. And also it has a Hurst shifter on it, so that's pretty neat. You can see the big H up here. Sadly, this is a little torn up, but what's cooler than that is this bag. This is a McDonald's. Oh my gosh, there's a McDonald's box too for fries. This looks like it's a bag from the Olympics, 1980. So this has been laying in this car for 45 years. Wow. Okay. Well, I like to see that they haven't changed their box design much. They must save a lot of money doing this, I gotta say. It says Made in USA on it. I don't think they do that anymore. Okay, I didn't even realize that was so gross inside there. Okay. Well, with that being said, this thing is really gross, really nasty. We got to get the seats out of here.
Wait, there's a McDonald's cup.
Where? There's fancy ketchup too.
Pick up the cup.
Hold on, I want to see the fancy ketchup. Made in USA as well. 1980. Wow, this is deteriorated through. Just gone. And then I can't tell you how hard that is. No, why'd my thumb have to break through there? The McDonald's cup's cool. Please put litter in its place. They had a good message back then. Well, as you guys can see, the floor of this car, the carpet that once was in here is now basically disintegrated. So after I get these seats out, we're gonna be tearing out all of this extra fluff and, you know, this stuff. And we are going to just clean the floor as best as we can, make sure that it's solid, and then hopefully there can be some new carpet in this thing when we're finished. Jesus, why is this so heavy? Ugh.
Whoa, show me the back of that thing.
Got a big old nest. Yuck.
Who's living in there?
All right, we are having quite a day here at WD, and I am just rolling with the punches, but it doesn't matter how bad a day is going. You always have the ability to work through them and make it a good day, as long as you stay positive, because every storm will roll through eventually, and the sun will come out, and things will get better. Just like this vehicle's paint. So we are now going to polish the Mustang's paint, and actually it's not too bad. It's not exactly painted well by any stretch of the imagination, but the paint will be able to be revived, and actually without too much labor. So there we go. There's a silver lining in an otherwise crazy day over here. But as I look at the vehicle's paint, we see a ton of oxidation and a ton of staining from all that organic debris and dust that had settled and then had kind of worked its way into the top layer of the paint from heat cycling. So when paint gets warm, it opens up, it expands, and then when it gets cold, it contracts, and it actually kind of sucks down all that contamination, which is why it's still visible on the paint. So we're gonna use a foam pad on a dual action polisher and a light polish and just see if we can, again, remove all that staining, the oxidation, and make this 1964.5 Mustang nice and bright red again. So let's get to it. All right, guys, that is a wrap for this video. I think the Mustang came out great, but I wanted to mention that during this video, we actually used 2 new products that we plan on dropping in the next 2 weeks. So let us know in the comments down below if you saw them or you think you know what they are. And then also stay tuned for our future videos. We have some crazy content upcoming. We just found the first production vehicle of a certain generation of a certain very special car that we're a big fan of here at WD. We also have a crazy collaboration, and we have another giveaway that's coming up in a couple weeks here. So stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and we will see you next week.